All right, Governor's in for Ask the Governor. Pregunta el Gobernador, 438-9776. I got a ton of questions for the governor, but this is about you calling in, and you talk right to the governor of Rhode Island, 438-9776. We'll try to get you some action, too. Go ahead.
All right. Tony, what's up, buddy?
Tony, you're on. Go.
Hello.
Go ahead, Tony. You're on with the governor.
Hi, Tony.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it. I just wanted to ask the governor. There's two things I wanted to ask. The first thing was on my mind was not about myself, but the second was about myself. The first one I want to ask is if the governor knows about the people being fired at WB Mason right before the holiday, about 75 to 100 people being fired over there in Cranston. I just wanted to know if the governor knew about that and, what we can do to help those people over there at WB Mason's during this holiday season.
All right, hold it there. Let's get that in. WB Mason, that's a big stationer over by, they're up from Route 2, right, Governor? I know that. The trucks and everything, old WB Mason. Do you know about this?
Yeah, yes, I've heard a little bit about it, but to the caller, Tony, we really step up at our DLT, our Department of Labor Training, and make sure that we're connecting in anyone who's laid off with benefits and also with a fast tracking strategy to a job.
It's a private company. I mean,
private company, but they I don't think that hit the threshold where they had to notify us. But if a company has so many employees, they need to notify us. I'm not sure if that happened or not, but I have heard through the grapevine about that. Anyone who has been laid off there and they have questions of DLT, give Matt Weldon, our director, a call. And certainly we're prepared to help people with the benefits, potentially unemployment, and also tracking towards a job or a upskill,
right.
Gene, that can help them get a better job.
Tony, quick second question. I want and
Okay,
make it tight for me.
My second question is about myself, Governor. I was convicted of a crime, a felony crime, about 25 years ago of dealing with some substances. Illegal substance, and I was just wondering the process of expungement or a pardon. I haven't been in trouble in 25 years, and it's just something that's hanging over my head. That my son's about to turn 16. He wants to, start, going to the gun range, and it's just hard for me to tell him that, I'm not allowed to go to the gun range because I am a convicted felon.
Okay, let's get you get calls like this, people asking for pardons and stuff. What authority do you have as the governor?
There is a pardon strategy that the General Assembly has to approve, so it's not a straight pardon from a governor.
Okay,
we take into consideration everything into consideration. But Tony, 25 years ago, you made some mistakes. You got it. Sounds like you're on the right track. I happen to believe in. In second chances, people who are in the corrections right now, as they come out, we really pay attention to those who want to get their lives in order. So congratulations on that. And leave your contact information with the station. We'll follow up with you. And if there's a path, then we'll follow it. And if not, we'll let you know.
Okay. You could also call your state rep if that's where they start. Is that a good spot to start?
I think it starts. It's almost both. You need to get General Assembly approval on any pardon, from what I'm told, and then the governor needs to be the one that kind of takes the initiative.
Okay. Speaking of ex-cons, inmates, do you know inmates called me because they have a tablet now? Are you aware of this? Maybe you were listening that day. We've given inmates tablets, and they could buy movies and games, and they can make unlimited phone calls to whomever they like. And they called us. Are you aware of that, Governor? I thought it was the old Shawshank Redemption. You have to line up at the payphone. Apparently not anymore.
Well, I think that we're trying to be as humane as possible with people who are paying the price. They need to pay the price for the crimes they commit. But also, we believe in, just like Tony, we believe in, do your time and make sure you're positioned in a spot where you can reenter the workforce. So I think there's certain levels of restrictions on that, Gene.
Well, according to Richard Ferruccio, they're very loose. Anybody can call anybody. Now, it is recorded, and there is a disclaimer saying this call is from within the ACI. But he said they're calling the correctional officers' homes, and they could call and order a pizza, and they could call a radio station. And he said Salisbury, who runs the ACI director, is not doing enough to crack down on this. Tighten it up.
Well, I think there's a certain level of restrictions. Richard has his point of view. We love Richard, but I'll have both of them in my office very shortly. I'll bring this up, Gene.
Okay.
I'll certainly bring this up.
Dave from Rumford wants to bring something up with regard to Salisbury over at the ACI. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, good morning, Governor.
Good morning.
So I had a question about the story that Channel 10 did about Salisbury, and it sounded like he was getting a kickback. Are you aware of that? And the other part of that I found interesting, you have a communications team. It sounded like they had to go back and forth about 10 times. Are our tax dollars going for a cover-up, basically?
All right. Well, let me just clarify. The Channel 10 story said Salisbury, who runs the ACI, used a contractor who does work at the ACI to do work at his home. He said, I paid him. I paid what I was supposed to pay him. I did nothing wrong. Governor, you're aware of the story.
We are aware of it, and I don't know where it is in terms of the investigation, if you want to call it, but we're certainly looking into that. We haven't seen any evidence that there's any impropriety there, although certainly the you can question the avenue that the director took on the issue. But we're looking into it. If there is something, there's no cover up. So let's get right to the meat of the matter on that.
Governor, when you walk out of the State House, a guy doing the floors, you don't say, "Hey, why don't you come over to my house and do the floors?"
Oh, Gene, I'm really careful.
Of course you are, but Wayne wasn't. Now go ahead and lay him out if that's what it comes to.
I just said I just admitted that it doesn't look all that good, but I can tell you, but just because it doesn't look good doesn't mean that is there's a cover up or there's a brown bag under the table. So look, we're looking into it. We're aware of it. I think the caller is making a jumping to a conclusion there based on personal type of feelings on things. We're looking into it. There won't be a cover up. If there is a problem, we certainly will expose it. We don't expect there is one.
Let's go to the bridge. Peter Alviti testified before the House Oversight Commission. I said that shows the state has a split personality. You're trying to win a lawsuit suing these companies, and the legislature calls in Peter Alviti for an examination. He got a proctology examination from CUNA, who he was paid $600 an hour to do a good job. What's your take on how Peter did? Some people think he didn't do that well.
Look,
did it undermine the case?
We don't believe it did. I think that's and Peter, the director, did a good job on that. That was an interrogation. That was a public interrogation by a seasoned professional, and any one of us would have trouble with that. That response. It's without any level of defense on the issue. So I think that the director did fine by in terms of the questioning, but that was an intense public deposition and under oath, and I'm not sure that I didn't hear anything that was different than what I knew going in. So there's no really nothing came out of there that potentially would change my opinion in terms of who we should be going after in terms of responsibility for repairing a bridge that couldn't be repaired. It took time to figure it out. I hired extra, my own individual experts on that, Gene. So I'm really well aware of this. Weekly meetings on the issue, and we know that there's a high level of aggravation when anybody gets stuck in traffic, and in particular if you get stuck in traffic there. But we have brought on a world-class bridge builder who is now in process. The demolition will be over in shortly. So I think that we didn't get to really lay out some of the details of how we're doing the work.
Yeah.
That was all about what happened before I came into office, and I think that it was a very high intense interrogation, very professional, with the person that the General Assembly hired, but it was meant to be putting pressure on the witness as you would do in any other trial.
Well, the Shikarchi and Lawson okayed that. Isn't that undermining your court case? I mean, they basically softened up the witness for any defense attorney who's going to take this case.
Well, I again, that's why.
What was the strategy? Why did they? That's undercutting you. And did you speak with Nerona about this? He's leading your case, supposedly.
We got on the record with letters to both the Attorney General relative to making sure that there was someone from the case in his office that was with the director, and there was. We also got on the record with the General Assembly with a letter which was made public that exactly the point you're making. Let's understand that there's a significant recovery that is more than probable, maybe as much as $100 million on this issue. And we wanted to make sure that the General Assembly knew and was aware of those particulars before they entered into this public deposition.
Well,
right?
they ignored you. They held a public. You call it an inquisition. It was direct examination. Even in a trial, you have the right to come up and try to. Your lawyer tries to rehabilitate you.
Yeah, it was a
well, you didn't have
one-sided-
that.
It was a 30-on-1. That's why you say that. Look, the director held his own. I think that there was certainly a very tense situation. But at the same point in time, I encouraged the oversight. I didn't say don't have the oversight. I think that there are things that we are going to have to continue to inform people of. Like I said, we're suing the people that I believe should be held accountable.
Mm-hmm.
That they said that the bridge could be repaired. It couldn't be repaired, Gene. That put our safety at risk. The people's safety at risk was based on those inspections and inspections over multiple years that didn't really get to the idea that that bridge was a problem that needed to be eliminated.
Okay, Peter got hammered for not knowing the name of a specific program manager. This is the person in charge of inspections, which he said yesterday is about 4 or 5 people down from him. He was says, I wish I would have known the name. He got caught on that, and also this notion that we don't have our own skilled DOT people to go over an inspection report, that we rely on other inspectors. In other words, other companies checking other companies. You listened to the whole thing. Am I interpreting this correctly?
Well, I didn't listen to the whole thing, but our office did listen to the entire matter. And I think that one is, I would like to have him known the individual that they were talking about, that they were meeting with. Look, I have weekly meetings on this, Gene. This is on a 1 to 10. This is a 10 since day one. And as far as the internal strategies, I'm on the record saying, look, if we can make an improvement to the to that process, then we will. If it's already in place, then we'll make sure that it's used in terms of the looking at plans and that type of thing. If not, we'll layer it into this budget this year. But the point of the matter is,
wait. You said a lot there.
Yes.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, by the way.
Yes.
I'm not the lawyer. We rely on professional inspectors to go inspect the bridges. Paid private company. Come back with your report. Millions of dollars. But when he hands it into the DOT, I don't have my own inspectors who look over it and say, well, you're right on this one, you're wrong on that one, we'll pay you for this.
No, I don't
we
think,
rely on other companies that same business to cross-check.
What I'm saying is that it's not a check and balance. It's just like if you have a home inspection done on your house, we hold the person that does the home inspection responsible, right? Not necessarily the realtor, right?
Yeah.
So we understand that the public feels as though that there should be a little bit layer of more oversight in the department. That doesn't mean that we would dismiss the reports that we get, and it doesn't change the fact that we relied on those reports to make our decisions on what we've done.
What is your understanding of what's at stake here? The Attorney General a couple of months told me that, well, this allows for an assignment of blame. Maybe 60% state, maybe 40% the inspectors, or maybe vice versa. Although yesterday, the DOT, I guess they're legal people, and Peter said that, well, no, most of these are strict contract cases. Yes or no? There may be one case where blame is going to be partial. What is your understanding?
Well, we'll let the courts decide, and I said let the chips fall where they may. Look, I believe.
But what is your understanding about this percentage game?
Well,
because that's changing what the AG told me.
There is a term that says that you can have shared responsibility in these cases. We're moving ahead because the public, and I want the public to really know that after a great deal of work over the first 90 days, when I was told that the bridge was going to go back to a repair strategy, and we found out through engineers that I hired out of DOA that in fact that couldn't happen. So we're very strong in terms of where we are. We are saying that those people who did the inspections are responsible for the problems that we're dealing with right now.
Okay.
and we're going to move forward and build a new bridge, and we're going to proceed to make sure we're doing as fast as we can, because there's a high level of aggravation there in the public's experience that we are aware of.
When I write the story tonight, you feel that your case has not been undermined by what happened to Peter.
We feel that we've gone back and had a little meeting with the attorneys to see whether how we made out there in terms of relative to protecting the case, and we feel good about that. And
what Peter went through, was that fair or unfair in your view?
Well, I think it's something that had to be done. The public was waiting for a really intense interrogation of the director. And I believe that at the end, what happened was the general public realizes that the people that we're pursuing for hold responsible, and they want responsibility, is actually held up in that interrogation. It was a long one, and we are in the right track. We're not happy the fact that the inspectors told us that a bridge could be repaired that couldn't be repaired over multiple years, Gene.
Yeah.
So I would say that I did not object to, in fact, I encourage the oversight. I do encourage any additional oversight. I also feel oversight should be also on, since I made the decision to close the bridge, let's talk about that so the general public knows the work that we've been putting in to replace that bridge and to also hold people accountable in a way that I believe they should be.
8:24, right back with the governor. More of your calls. More calls for the governor. Gov, let's get the headphones on and get constituent service. Go ahead.
Here we go. Rachel in Portsmouth. Hello, Rachel.
Rachel, go. You're on.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I called in with a different question, but I just wanted to jump off quickly on the bridge inspectors for the DOT. I did see that there was a recent posting for, bridge inspectors that work for the DOT, and it says that they do all those jobs that external bridge inspectors would do. So I thought it was interesting that we rely on these external companies, but it seems that DOT might actually have their own inspectors. So that's, as a constituent, that's very confusing to me. Yeah. Don't know if you have an answer. But my main question was about the unaffordability of every city and town in this state. I work for a state school. I make just under $50,000. There is nothing in this. I've tried to look at tiny homes, mobile homes, ADUs. I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do.
Okay, Governor,
what are we going to do about this? And more detailed, not just we're working together.
Governor, I have 1 minute on the affordability question, because that's your party's. That's all they talk about these days. And it won Mamdani, the New York mayor's race. Go ahead.
Oh.
Got a minute.
Well,
and if you want more time, we'll come back with it.
Yeah,
go
I think
ahead.
you have more time on that, but specifically to the caller back on the bridge issue. The General Assembly changed the way that we operate to program management, right, to project management years ago, and we're getting so much more done right now than we ever have before. So that system actually has worked. If we need a little check and balance in the office to make you feel a little better, the public better, we'll take care of that. On the housing issue, we are really laser focused on that. And again, I know if you want to share your personal information, we'd love to get back to you. We get some ideas from you. But right now we have over 6,700 housing units that have started or completed since I've been governor, and all across the board, whether it's working with the people who are need shelter, all the way to fair market housing and everything in between. So we are working on that. You're going to see a whole lot more inventory, and we're ready to do a home ownership strategy as well on that $120 million bond that
Governor,
the taxpayers.
I'll let you expand upon that right after Bill Haveman's headlines.
Yep.
And you were talking about under Governor Raimondo the law was changed to allow for DOT to become more of a supervisor of contractors we hire rather than a builder. And actual exit. We don't build them, we hire people. That's where this whole thing is. We don't inspect, we hire inspectors.
It's an important distinction, and we're doing so much better and moving up the infrastructure rankings as we speak, quite frankly, since I've been governor.
Well, we do it every Friday. Governor, this is nice. Mark Perman over at Job Lot gave us $2,000 a week to give away to deserving nonprofits. This week, it's the St. Vincent de Paul Society. With Father Marciano, who runs this particular chapter. He's on the line. Good morning, Father Marciano.
Good morning, Gene, and good morning, Governor.
Good morning, Father.
You get $2,000 from Job Lot gift cards. What are you going to spend it on?
We are going to spend it on the 60 families we are assisting this Thanksgiving. Those food baskets go out this week. Our volunteers, members of the St. Vincent de Paul Society, and our school children work together to provide these baskets for families, not just for a day, Gene, but for a week and beyond.
Nice. You're over at St. Kevin's, right?
I am.
And so this is the local chapter, and you have your food pantry, and you're going to spend it on deserving people. Great.
You bet we will. We'll spend every penny on those people in our neighborhood that need our help.
Great. This is Father Marciano, St. Kevin's, with the St. Vincent de Paul Society. Great. Terrific.
Our family goes back a long way with Father Bob, all the way out to St. Joan of Arc Church, Bob, Father, right? And a real good friend of our family, that's for sure.
We sure do, Governor. I have great memories of your parents in that parish.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you for your work.
You bet, Governor. You too.
Yeah, a little shout out to Job Lot too. I mean, they've done some things with transporting food out, to areas that need it outside the country with Indicia, and then also they're preparing, and we're working with them right now on a Thanksgiving feast that they're going to provide right out of their facility on Thanksgiving Day.
Nice. Good. $2,000 a week from Job Lot. Job Lot. Job done. All right, 8:38. Governor, let's get back to Ask the Governor. I'm getting a couple more calls on before we let you go. Yesterday, ICE came into the courthouse in Providence, and they were looking for somebody. Turns out they were looking for the wrong person. They went to go grab an intern, but they had the wrong information, the wrong paperwork. And the judge had to step in to protect the kid, and now Judge Sattel, the chief judge of the whole system, he's very angry at how ICE behaved. Do you want to add your voice on this?
Yeah, this is very concerning. But before I weighed in with a comment that really was very critical of taking a young kid, 16 years old or whatever it is, into custody, this is profiling. This is what I've said. Look, get the criminals out. No profiling. My family, your family, and that's exactly what happened. And we really need to be very concerned about it. But we actually checked into the court system before I out there to get a sense on what happened, and tell me, this is very serious, Gene. You're taking a young kid into custody. I mean, I coach 16-year-old kids. They're just little kids. I mean, the mistaken identity here. I'm not buying it.
Oh, look, so right now it doesn't make them look good. You had the wrong information. You're going to grab the wrong kid. The judge stepped in, and now Sattel is saying it's very bad. You've just added your voice. I just want to be fair to everybody, Governor. Sometimes law enforcement makes a mistake. That doesn't mean that they're not out to do the best for society. It's tough to be an ICE agent, tough to be a cop, and with thousands and thousands, there may be a mistake.
There's going to be mistakes in numbers, but this is an egregious one. You get a young kid, and then taking the person into custody. I can just repeat again. Before ICE made a statement, we checked in with the courts to get a sense on what happened. This was a real egregious offense.
Okay. Governor, your Commissioner of Education is railing against Donald Trump taking apart the Federal Department of Education. Trump says it's a waste of money. I'd rather give the money to the states. You oversee it. Or I'm going to give it to another agency. They're going to oversee it. We knew this was coming. This is part of the campaign process. You're not surprised?
I'm not surprised. I mean, I was told this when I met with the cabinet members in Washington in the first quarter of this year. Well, the problem is it's just more chaos, and the Trump administration thrives on the chaos. There's really no plan here. We'll find out when everything comes out in the wash whether Rhode Island is receiving the resources that we've had received in the past. Remember, this is our money. We send our tax dollars to Washington. Washington sends it back to us. Rhode Island has historically been one of the states where we send more than we get back. So there's some concerns there, and I have to support the commissioner on this. She's right in the middle of how this all works, and there's a lot of unanswered questions right now, and we're cautious about it.
Okay. Governor, you're the commander-in-chief of the National Guard, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. If you give an order, you want it followed. Would you like somebody, a critic of yours, hold on, you've got him, saying, hey, you know what? I don't know if all the governor's orders are lawful. If he ever gives you an unlawful order, you have the right to disobey that. As a commander-in-chief, and by the way, there's very few of you. It's an exclusive club. This is happening to Donald Trump. You had a couple of senators and members of Congress stirring the pot, saying to members of the military directly, hey, not every order he gives you is lawful. Some of them may be unlawful, and you have a duty to not follow an unlawful order. You could take it from the commander's point. You could take it from politics. We were discussing it in the commercial. I think I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Well, no. First of all, I'll be very slow to give an order to the military, not having experience in the military. General Chevalier and the whole National Guard, I certainly give a lot the whole. Authority, quite frankly, to make the right decisions, and they let me know what happens. So,
but there may be a sense where you have to make a call, and listen, I need the National Guard to respond, and you'll leave the mechanics to them.
Yeah.
But Commander-in-Chief, you give an order. Would you like one of your critics suggesting that maybe all of McKee's orders may not be lawful, and you really should examine your conscience and not follow an unlawful order?
Well, again, I'm going to be very careful before and the president should be as well. He doesn't have any military, experience as well. So I defer to the experience of the generals, whether it was General Callahan, now General Chevalier, in terms of the National Guard. Those are the people that I rely on. And I'm not going to be doing a knee-jerk reaction in terms of demanding that we put military on the streets in a time frame of peace. I would never do that. That is happening. So I can understand the caution that's coming from Congress. But yeah, look at they're playing a little games as well. But at the same point in time, we've got military on the streets in a time of peace. We have a 16-year-old kid being taken out from the courts right here under our nose. My red flags are up here, Gene. So if I overstep my bounds as a governor, I would expect the general public to question whether I did the same thing, whether I decide, hey, I'm going to dispatch the National Guard to a community in Rhode Island, and then start arresting people on a profiling situation. Of course, I think that it's opened up the debate, and I'm glad I'm not in Washington right now.
President said, "This is real." I'm quoting, "This is really bad, dangerous to our country. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up." He followed that up with seditious behavior punishable by death. He is now roundly getting hammered by Democrats who said that goes too far.
Well, it did. It did go too far. I mean, we're talking about people who served our country. Now, if you want to question their video as being something that shouldn't have been done, that's one thing. But when you start talking about treason, lock them up, put them, we know that's so extreme that that's never going to happen. So, but the problem is, Gene, is quite frankly, look, I'm friend with Governor Shapiro. I got a jacket on that he provided to me, when I was in with a couple governors in Pennsylvania. He had a Molotov cocktail thrown through his window, and it almost burned down his residence with his family in it. Look,
and Donald Trump was almost shot and killed. He was shot. He was almost killed. That's on both sides.
Absolutely, and I would agree with that. This is the temperature that we're in. Feeding into that temperature from either side of the aisle. Very dangerous, and we should be very, very cautious about it.
Tom, you're aware of Kalshi, the predictive betting market? Do you know what that is, Kalshi? You can bet on anything. It's a gambling site.
I'm hearing a little bit about it. I don't know much.
Believe it or not, your election is on Kalshi. Tom, what are the numbers today?
Oh, no.
Is he underwater or above water?
Helene is right now considered the favorite on Kalshi to win the Democratic gubernatorial race.
These are people betting
on
how the outcome is.
By the way, it goes to Kalshi, the money. It doesn't come to the state. Okay. So the state has nothing. It doesn't get anything. I bet on the Celtics the other night. I made $300 on the Celtics, not using
Tom, if you want to make some good money, take the odds and bet on me.
Yeah, you know what? It would be good money. It's a smart money to take you.
Because that's exactly what's going to happen.
As an underdog,
right now, the Kalshi's got you as an underdog.
Well,
listen, this is the business we've chosen. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
I'm not advocating anybody going betting. But if I was to bet that race, bet on me.
You're going after Helena today because you said she's too close to Larry Summers, the disgraced Harvard former president who was pals with Epstein?
Yeah, you can't have it both ways. You can't use him as a validator for your campaign and then at the same time find out that he's connected with Epstein. You took thousands of dollars from him, send back the money, and also explain to the people why you're still close to a guy like that, like Larry Summers, which she's admitted that she's a close friend of.
Now, you know, a lot of Democrats are close to Epstein, too. I mean, you want to go after all of them?
I think that.
I mean, she was on the board up at Harvard. She went to Harvard. What is it you bothered? She didn't hook up with Epstein. She knows Summers did. What does that got to do with her?
A close personal friend. Then I would think that you should be telling people why you're a close personal friend with somebody that's hooked up with Epstein. If there's somebody in my network, I would feel as though I went on to distance myself from somebody that continued to be involved with Epstein after the fact, after everybody knew what the hell he was up to. Look, that's a serious problem that this guy, and it's only going to get exposed to be even more creepy as we go along.
She was close personal family friends. Well, she is with Pelosi. You know, Pelosi's well, it's made millions in the stock market while she was sitting in office. You have anything to say about that?
Look, there's a big distinction between having somebody like Epstein that created this whole issue with young women, underage women, and using them the way they use. This is really. You can't, there's no words for how bad that is. So, and then you have somebody like Larry Summers connecting in with him through emails, asking for advice how he might be able to actually create a relationship with a woman.
You could see where association is. Hey, Pelosi's getting hammered now for making hundreds of millions. Her and her husband made. A lot of buzz about insider trading. She knows things we don't. You know, you could follow her trades and make money just based on what she does. There's an app for that. Should Helena?
What's the name of that betting place?
Well, Kalshi is different.
Kalshi.
Kalshi. But Helena's tight with her. They're family friends. Would you like to raise that as an issue?
There's a distinction between the two. My God, you're going to have Pelosi and Epstein, people who know Epstein. Look, if Pelosi had a direct contact with Epstein, she would be distancing herself from that, and rightfully so. So and be criticized for that. Look, if you have a person that's in your orbit, and this is just a beginning, right? I mean, we got folks got with John Sackler has personal relationship with him. I mean, you have situations
hold on.
where
You're going into now the opioid crisis. He was at CVS when the opioid crisis went down. They made money. She made money. Sackler was the manufacturer.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Now, what do you want to say about that?
And personal friends. So I mean, look at. I'll go with what Charlie Lombardi always says. Look, if who you hang out with will tell me who you are.
Okay, Governor. You want to take another call for the governor, or you want to let him go?
It's up to you. Do you want to take a call?
Let's take one more call. Let's ask the governor. Go ahead. You pick it.
Lee, go ahead, Lee.
Lee, you're on with the governor. Last one in.
Okay. Thanks for taking my call. Governor, you're only as good as the information you get, and I want you to know you're getting very bad information on housing. You announced 3 weeks ago that you provided an additional $1.8 million to get 600 new places for people who are homeless. And I want to tell you that the system is a great failure. I'm a volunteer with a nonprofit agency that helps homeless pregnant women. We have a woman that's gone to a Providence place that you designated to get a place to live, and she was told they can't even see her until December 15th, which is after her delivery date. This is an abomination. You're getting very bad information.
Well, Lee, thanks for the call. Please leave your number again. We would want to follow up on that individual for sure. And I would just tell you that, you're never going to get it perfect here on the homelessness, but we have expanded the number of shelters by, I think, from 800 to almost 1,600. We have a couple hundred, if the weather goes down, that can be opened up on an emergency.
You're talking about beds?
Beds, yes,
Yep.
shelter beds. But on this situation, we'd love to be able to follow up with that individual and just track down your story, because that is the surface of that story is disturbing.
You spent a lot of money on the homeless, Governor. Got millions and millions, tens of millions.
A
lot of it went to Crossroads, where they spent $700,000 of it on architectural lighting. That's a story for another day.
Well, also Crossroads just opened up about 176 units.
Does that absolve them of spending $700,000 on a neon band of blue on top of the roof?
Well, I don't know the details on that, but I know that we've invested a great deal of dollars, and Lee's calling in wanting us to invest dollars to help the people who are struggling like that. We are doing that.
Governor, you have a new grandson?
Yeah, Patrick Daniel McKee, born 2 weeks ago. We're thrilled. We have a granddaughter, Mabel James, that is headed to
Yep.
3 years old in January, and our family is very blessed.
Well, you have a lot to be thankful for. Happy Thanksgiving
Yeah.
to you and the family. Thanks for coming in.
And that's a good way to end this show here. Wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving and their families the very best.
Thanks, Governor. 8:56.